it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma and a comma.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.
ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket.
Welcome to the ride, everybody. And what a ride it's going to be. Welcome to Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am he. And you are tuning in to our latest show. Now, listen, y'all. I sat there and already had our panel pulled up. But one of them in pre-show in the green room decided he wanted to sit there and add some garments to him. So I will start with him on tonight's ass whooping. Let me go ahead and bring him in since he wanted to sit there. I wouldn't bring it up, but let me go ahead and we go talk about tonight's ass whooping with him. Before I do that, let me
bring it, baby! Bring that ass whooping. Bring the ass whooping.
We definitely have delusional people on the show, so you too can actually join as well if you might be a little slightly delusional as well. But yeah. I have Mr. Brad Compton. How you doing, sir?
Sure, yes, sir. I'm honored, man. It's been a minute. Like I said, every week there was something going on. I couldn't get here.
Hey, man. Hey, you know what? Dad's a full-time job, man.
It is. I'm big time rooting for the Cowboys tonight. No, I can't say that. I'm a jinx. I'm hoping that Tampa Bay loses tonight. I'm hoping they lose.
I hope Janet Jackson on the other side of my door right now, but it ain't that Lori's any scrub or nothing. But hey, Janet's Janet, man. With that said, hello, Lori. How are you doing?
Hello.
Oh my goodness. And last but certainly NFC least, CJ Jones behind the mask. Somebody says, man, can you identify the robber? They say, I don't know, but he had a whole lot of shit on his face. But anyway, how you doing, CJ?
I'm doing well, guys. I knew I was going to get you started as soon as you saw it because that's the whole point. Listen. I love my haters. I love my haters. If it wasn't for my haters, our fandom wouldn't be what it is. So I have to give props to all the haters. I do. I have to. So I thank you.
You don't have no choice.
Can I raise my hand for a second?
Please do.
So this is very ironic that you decided to put on that regalia today. I actually had a meeting with my boss, and we were talking about football. And actually, Brian, I did float the idea of him coming on either Head to Head or the sports show, and he actually might do it. And he also told me his son is a huge football fan and might be as another person for the Head to Head sports. But getting back to the Dallas Cowboys, so I found out that my boss actually really follows Dallas. So we had a conversation because I even told him, and I said, Mo, really? You're Dallas? I didn't see you as a Dallas. But he did tell me, he was like, I follow Dallas, but I cannot follow the Jets because it's just way too painful.
Well, I mean, if he's a masochist, then that would be the team to go to, or the Bears, or something like that. But yeah, I can understand that.
So I just want to let you know, CJ, that there are Dallas fans all over the place. And
oh Lori, there's no
over
question.
A year and some change. Never knew that.
Lori, you gotta understand. Cowboy fans are everywhere. Just like when you go to different places and you see people wearing like Yankee hats, they may not necessarily be Yankee fans, but you know, it's a hat that everybody likes to wear. But Dallas people, it don't matter what town you're in, there's Dallas, there's DC for L all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So there's been like scientific studies about this, right? So Cowboy fans are like roaches, right?
Pretty much.
They're everywhere. It's no one's fault. But they've studied and they kind of said that it's going to take 43 years for us to get rid of Cowboy fans because that 70s era, they'll all be gone in another 42.7 years. They'll all be gone. So we just got to hold on a little bit longer.
Just a little longer. Damn it.
I love the hate. I love the hate. I appreciate it. I love that, bro.
Hey, listen. All in all, though, I am so happy. Tonight's first ass whooping,
bro.
Gonna be handed out by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I give them about a quarter and a half, and then they're gonna just put the foot on the pedal. Bro. Yeah.
Tampa Bay is in all actuality. Tampa Bay got really lucky last year. They really did.
They did.
And don't sleep on the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to be exposed.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to sleep on the Cowboys. They're going to win the end of, in my show, I think I said the did I say it? Let me look because I don't want to go back off of what I said. Well, I think for the NFC least, we did both pick Dallas, but it was close. We picked Dallas to win the NFC East, but it was really close because I'm thinking if Washington really, really wants to, they could win the NFC East. Or it's going to come down to the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season before we even know who wins the East. Not because Philly's going to be in it. Not because New York is going to be in it, but I think it's going to be a two-headed fight, kind of like what Tennessee and Indianapolis did last year for the.
You know what? I have to agree with you on that one. It'll just go back to the old. It'll go back to the old school rivals, Cowboys versus.
And I'm gonna tell you. I have to agree with that. You what? Whoever wins the head-to-heads could likely walk away with it that way, because if it comes down to a tie and say Washington got the best of Dallas from a head-to-head standpoint, head-to-head, you like that, right? From a head-to-head standpoint, that could determine who's going to win the East. It's just going to be that simple. The problem is that for you to advance in the playoffs in the NFC East, you're going to have to win your division. There's no other way to get in, because now with 17 games, having a 9-8 season is not going to get you in the playoffs this year.
Oh no.
You're going to have to win. You're going to have to win 10, 11 games minimum just to have a chance. That's why, because out of the 7 slots, 4 of them are spoken for by the division winner. So if you think about it, if Green Bay wins the NFC North, if Dallas wins the NFC East, if the Raiders win the NFC West, if when they win it,
Raiders.
I'm sorry, Rams. Rams. I got Rams.
Okay.
Once the Rams win in the AFC West, and then you have who did I miss? The South. Once the Tampa wins that, then you only got 3 wild card teams that are going to be fighting. So 9 and 10 wins probably won't get you in when you got other teams in the conference that could pull it out. I mean, you still got a handful of teams I didn't even mention that's in the NFC that could sit there and fight for that. I mean, you think you got teams, golly, who do you got? You got 49ers.
You got Frisco, Seattle, Arizona.
Yeah.
All of them could big up. All of them could big up.
Yeah, you got a couple of teams that could sneak in there. So they're going to be fighting.
Lori, who's your team?
I don't think you're going to have.
You a Giant fan? Jets fan? I don't know. I'm asking. Neither.
Yeah, Lori, I mean, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't have you chained up, so go ahead and answer the question.
For the peace in my household,
Damn.
it would be Carolina. But
Wow.
from originally, which is still a little bit painful, but I've always repped the Giants.
Don't let him change you. Don't let him change you. Don't let him change you.
You know, Lori.
Yeah, I hate the Giants, but don't let him change you.
Lori, you could have just easily said I'm a Panthers fan. You ain't have to preclude it by saying to keep peace in my house, like I'm gonna put you in the dog out the first chance I get.
That's actually what.
But okay, that ain't the point.
So
that ain't the point. Y'all would have deserved it.
And you know what? And you have a Panthers jersey for the dog as well. So, as I said.
Damn right.
Yes. So the household itself is a Panther household.
Well, see, I do that because he don't pay no bills, so he don't get no say. But you pay bills, so you actually have a choice. Just don't, as long as it ain't the Cowboys. You got 31 other teams you can root for, and I have no problem with it, as long as it ain't the Cowboys. You come in here with some Cowboys on and stuff like that, or I'm gonna send you straight to Dallas for work.
Why you don't like the Cowboys, Mr. Parker?
Yeah,
in North Carolina, there is a little town outside of Gastonia, North Carolina, which is south of Charlotte, called Dallas. I think the majority of the Dallas Cowboy fans here got that mixed up with Dallas, Texas. They a little slow. A lot of them. Ain't not all of them. Not all of them. Don't send me the hate, y'all. Don't send me the hate. But they are so. It's not even that I don't like the Cowboys. I actually grew up really loving the Cowboys of old. The Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith days. Moose, all of them. I really did. I tried my best to root for that team. The fans made it so hard. Because they were so freaking obnoxious and delusional. I mean, even if they were like 3-7, they still going to the Super Bowl. I'm like, how? You can't. Oh no, we're gonna find a way. Jerry gonna get us there. I'm like, really? So I tried my best. I even one time had a pair of Emmitt Smith number 22 shoes on. But that fan base, and then the other fan base, the Washington football team, previously the Reds, sat there and they would always clash with each other, and they were just obnoxious, and they had worse winning success too. So I'm just like, y'all are both just made for each other. Y'all crazy. I didn't want to.
Bro, time out.
I became an Eagle fan.
That other team in the NFC East, their fan base is the worst of the worst. I like a lot of the Giant players. I like a lot of them, but I can't admit that because I'm here in the belly of the beast. Everything you said about the Cowboys, that's what Giant fans are. That's what Giant fans are. They think Phil Simms is the best quarterback of all time. He's not the mediocre quarterback that he is.
You don't see Giant fans trying to live off the past. Always want to talk about how many rings they got, and that was in the 90s.
Show me any team. Show me any team that don't think that way about their team. I love how you say you have an experience with
the Panthers. Panthers don't go. We've been to 2 Super Bowls. We've been to 2 Super Bowls.
That's right. That's good enough. No, that's good enough.
To be more specific, any Super Bowl winning team. I don't care if you have 1 or 2. Show me any fan that don't have the aspirations of their team going to the Super Bowl.
No. CJ. Everybody starts out 0-0 today. Everybody's if your goal ain't to go to the Super Bowl, why the hell are you playing? Everybody's aspiration is to get to the chip. Y'all think you preordained to get there. Y'all think that it's a birthright. Y'all think because y'all's America's team, you roll out of the bed and you're going to roll into the Super Bowl. Like them other 17 games ain't got nothing to do with it.
I do. You know what? Listen, now don't get me twisted with the other set because there are okay. Think of us.
Okay, look at him.
Think of us. Hang on, Lori. Hang on, Lori. Hang on. Think of us as being like think of us as being like this one big family, right? Mm-hmm. And you have experience with the special child.
So not even special child. So are you saying your best friend be Uncle Joe? All of them crazy fans that you got,
like Craig and them, like Craig and them and everything. They go a little hard. You know what I'm saying? So, we got a special table for them. But the rest of us, we just love football, and I love my team flat out.
That's fine.
Okay, so CJ, you're trying to. It sounds like you're trying to convince me that you got some extremist sects of DC for L, but what you're trying to get me to realize is that the broader base is more. The broader base is more in the middle of reality and being realistic, is what you're trying to tell me.
But I cannot speak for your experience. So
no, I know you can't because I ain't seen what the hell you're talking about. But you trying to get me to believe that the rational, reasonable fan is probably more or less the majority of the DC for L family, but y'all got like that crazy uncle that just show up in his house coat every now and then.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
DC for L, the entire outfit down to socks, shoes, everything. And
now,
and then you're talking about
you sounding like
it's like 1 in 15. I don't.
Now, Lori, you are sounding like you are hating on the advertisement.
I can't
and the franchise itself.
I'm just saying.
I can't help it that we are internationally known. You can't put that Panther logo anywhere and people go, oh yeah, those are the Panthers. It don't happen. Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
no, not that
in some fairness, how could you? Which franchise has been around the longest? Which franchise has been around the longest?
I mean, Dallas Cowboys we're one of the oldest, 1960s.
Yeah.
We are highly recognizable. That's what it sounds like you're hating on.
No. There's nothing wrong with being.
I've seen and that ram it down my throat. That at the beginning of every football season, they're gonna go, and then when it comes, and then I'm talking about they're talking on Facebook and this, and it's every week, and then as we get, they're talking about, oh, we're still going to Super Bowl, even when they've been eliminated, they're still going, but they keep going and going and going. That's what I'm talking about. That's the irrationality that I'm speaking about.
I've seen that,
and like I said, I do agree. We do have a nice group of us that just they're a little gone, man. They are really gone.
Yeah,
they are gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the way you view little and the way I view little may be a little bit different. So that's probably what the issue is.
But we still love you.
So yeah. Anyway,
it's all good.
Oh, no,
anyway,
we love you.
Well,
good luck tonight, man. Do your thing tonight.
Yeah.
Set the world on fire.
My only.
It's in Dallas or Tampa. It's got to be Tampa, right? They just won the Super Bowl.
What's that?
The game is correct.
Yeah. It's in Tampa. Mm-hmm.
It's in Tampa. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So CJ, as long as the game is close and respectable, and as long as Dak walks away without being put down on the ground enough times.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that my quarterback is good to go.
Brad is right. Brad is right. Tampa caught fire at the right time last year.
Mm-hmm.
People think about the end, but they don't remember what they did to get to that point. They took some L's early. They were not a cohesive unit. When I initially picked them at the beginning of last year, September last year, I picked Tampa and Kansas City correctly, but it was based off of the fact that I thought that Tom Brady having those shiny toys, notably Mike Evans and Godwin as his receivers, having Gronk as a tight end, having Cameron Brate as a tight end, and my other brother is a tight end. I can't think of him, but then they went down, so he didn't have them. Thinking about having Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones in the backfield, I'm like, man, dude is just going to have a field day. But
he's back, right? That tight end, that other tight end is back now.
Yeah, he's got all three this year.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Yeah. So that's why
I'm looking forward to this.
That's why I'm like, listen,
we got some weapons.
Brought back all 22 starters.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense was decent last year. Dominican Sue, Shaq Barrett, they coming for Dak. You know, Sue is coming. You know, Barrett is coming. They brought all them boys back. They licking their chops at Dak. Zeke, you better sit there and run like your life depend on it. Because if that rush
and like I said, my man Zach, my corner Zach, he got to be on point. He can't play today. He cannot play.
So give me predictions. I got Dallas 24-13.
24. You got Dallas winning?
24-13. Yeah, I got Dallas 24-13. Yep. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna.
I had it 21-14. I had it 21-14.
Okay.
I had 21.
CJ, you said Dallas was gonna win too.
Yes, sir. For the upset.
Damn. Lori,
make sure.
I have no foot in this game, but you know, like I said, I just want an exciting game. I just want a real exciting game.
Oh, it's damn sure gonna be exciting.
I'm glad, and I don't want to jinx myself. It's 6:30. I'm glad to see another football season. I'm glad.
Bro, I am too.
Bro,
I'm happy.
I'm waiting on the light to change. I'm not crossing the street before it's time. I'm taking the time in traffic. I want no problems before the football season.
So Brad, I'm gonna ask you this because we didn't get to talk about it with you last time. I want to hear what you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I'm gonna go ahead and give my prediction. 31-13, Tampa Bay.
Wow.
Wow.
CJ,
yeah,
you still consider him a friend?
CJ? A blowout.
Well,
CJ, that's personal, bro.
CJ, I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I think it's gonna be close to first quarter and a half, but I think the number of 3 and outs and the time of possession is starting to become Dallas's enemy. I think Tampa Bay is going to be able to spread the ball and just keep driving a lot of quick scores down the field. It's not going to be a pounded game. They're not going to run like Tennessee is. They're not going to run like Minnesota is. They're going to air it out. They got a lot of pass catching ends, receivers, and guys in the backfield. Your defense for Dallas has not proven to me outside of drafting Michael Parsons that they're going to be anything this year. So the only way that they're going to beat teams until that defense steps up is it's going to have to be a shootout and they're going to have to outscore them. That will happen when you play other teams that don't have such a stout defense. But when you having a team to play a stout defense and you putting everything on a shoulder of one Dakota Prescott that we have not seen do a whole lot in the preseason, that's a lot to ask for in his first game. This game is more or less his first preseason game because he didn't play in the preseason. You can't tell me that missing 11 months of no practice, no live game action, not taking that first hit, getting your ass knocked down to the ground and getting back up, he automatically just going to turn it on like we playing Madden and nothing happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Yep.
Even
and that he had an ankle injury. He didn't have a debilitating knee injury. He had an ankle injury. He's going to be fine.
He had an ankle injury. But you still but this is
he's got weapons too. He's got excellent
but you gotta have,
he's got an excellent running back. He's got weapons too.
Right, but Dak wasn't known as a timing quarterback. He just has a good arm. He's a good quarterback. I'm not trying to take away from Dak.
I feel like Dak is going to surprise you, B. I really do.
He might. I hear
what you're saying, and you sound like a numbers guy.
I hope he does, but I know.
I wrote it down.
What'd you write?
I wrote down the prediction.
You sound like a numbers guy, and I can't debate numbers. By the numbers, by right, I can't disagree with you, but that's why I'm looking for the upset.
Right. I get it. Like it's a feeling thing. I get it.
And I feel like, I feel like it's going to be a tight game, and I feel like we're going to pull off the upset.
I feel like your next game, you have an opportunity for that. But this game, only because, like I said, he's got to get the reps. The quarterback position is all about timing. And especially when you have dynamic receivers like that, you got to know where CeeDee Lamb likes that ball. Does he like it in front of him? Do he like it behind him? How does he want the ball high pointed to him? Michael Gallup goes up for a lot of balls across the middle. You got to be able to get it to him at the highest peak so he can come down with the ball across with those defensive backs hanging all over.
They know that. That's all in place.
You can know it.
Worry about that. They good.
You got to practice.
They good. They got that.
You got to practice. He ain't been practicing like that with him.
He's good. He's good. He'll be fine.
If you're telling me you're not going to see signs of rust on Dak Prescott, okay, have at it, Hoss. I just think you're going to see some signs of rust. You're going to see what being hurt for 11 months and not playing any preseason games will do to a player, even the best player. If this was Tom Brady, I would be saying the same thing. As good as he can be.
Please. Listen. Subject, please.
Yes,
okay. And Brad,
start focusing on our panel on what we have to
I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but every time I bet against Tom Brady, I end up looking stupid. That's all I can say. I don't necessarily say I'm a Tom Brady fan, but I have to respect what he's done. That leads me into this, Brad. This is what we were talking about last week, and I kind of want your opinion on it. We were talking about Cam Newton losing his job last week, and part of that speculation was because he, like Kirk Cousins, like Lamar Jackson, oh my God, Philadelphia quarterback just went to Indy.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. Have not been vaccinated, and that opened up a chance for Mac Jones to basically take his spot and let Belichick and Josh McDaniels see what life without Tom Brady could really look like if they move on from Cam. And I brought up the point that people forget that Tom Brady became the quote-unquote GOAT because Drew Bledsoe got hurt and couldn't get his job back.
Right.
So this is all about being in the place where when the opportunity presents itself, you take full advantage of it. And that's what happened to Cam because of his misunderstanding with the COVID protocol. It opened the door for the rookie to step in, who now we keep hearing stuff about. Had to explain some of the playbook to Cam, which I don't know how true that is, but players are saying it. That gave him an opportunity to step right in and take his job. So I'm like, hey, listen, y'all. I know how a lot of y'all may feel about this vaccine, but the best ability for a player is their availability. So whether coaches want to admit it or not, that is definitely going into people's thoughts about when they're coming up with their 53-man roster. When you have a 53-man roster, that is very, very precious roster spots because there's 11 offensive starters, there's 11 defensive starters. Then you got to have enough backups, and a lot of those backups have to be able to play special teams. So 53-man roster, while that sounds like a lot of spots, it's not. They're very, very precious. And if I got to sit there and I got two guys for the same spot and relatively they're pretty close as far as production, am I going to go with the vaccinated guy or the unvaccinated guy?
Of course you're going to go with the vaccinated. Of course.
Yeah. Cam made his own bed. You know what I mean? He listen. This is your job, bro. This is your job. You go get the vaccine. I mean, come on. Go get the vaccine.
Exactly. I mean, we talking about money. The NFL is about money.
Right.
They about revenue.
That's what it's about.
And they lost a lot of money last year. Now the players got their full checks. Without fans, without concessions, without parking and everything else, the players that didn't opt out got their full checks. The ones that opted out even still got paid something.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. They had to negotiate, but they got paid a little something. They didn't get to pay their full salary, but they did get paid a little bit. So the thing is,
do you think he was cut? Do you think he was cut solely on his vaccination status?
No.
Heck no. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right, so they were not happy with Cam. They were not happy.
Exactly. He was showing signs. You could see it in Belichick's face sometimes. Whenever Cam would play, you could tell there was no. Basically, he just wasn't Tom. I don't want to go no further than that. But just,
so was it his his inability to make certain throws, or was it his decision making on the field? Like, why did you do that?
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna give you the tea. What ended up happening was this. There's a certain type of play that Bill Belichick likes. He's more, and he does mix his play up, because I've seen him some games run 90% of the plays and 10% rushing, and then do the flip, because he will adjust to what the defense is giving him. But at the same time, he likes his quarterback to be able to distribute the ball. He really wasn't a fan of the quarterback doing a bunch of RPOs, tucking the ball away from the running back, and then taking off and running and everything. The fact that Cam was your leading rusher on that team last year, as far as touchdowns with 12 touchdowns, that ain't really how he liked the ball. Mac Jones, when you ask Bill Belichick to close his eyes and dream of his ideal quarterback, it's more of that statuesque quarterback checking down to the running back, balls across the middle to the tight end, taking opportunities with the deep pass. That's more of the quarterback that he envisions. Cam is not that guy, but he was willing to accept that until he could find that quarterback of his dreams. And it fell into his lap in the draft. He didn't even have to move up to get him. So when they saw Mac Jones in that week without Cam take more of the first team reps, they said to themselves, we're a lot closer to what we really want having Mac in here. Is he going to take his lumps early? Yes, but we got a good running back to hand off to. They just went out and got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry.
They got some weapons.
Tight ends. Those are his safety blankets. So when he can't push the ball down the field, he can dump it out to those two beasts. He got arguably the best two tight ends set out there.
So the question is, why didn't they have a season, right, or go into the season have it with Cam having some weapons? Because admittedly, they had nothing last year.
Right. I think it was because they looked at Mac Jones and they said, you know what? When Cam is out there, these are certain plays that we can run with Cam. With Mac, we can open that up a little bit more once we get him more into the playbook. I think they felt like they had a limited playbook with Cam. Power left, power right, tight end drop off. They only run it a bunch of slants. Cam has an arm, but it's very inaccurate. Sometimes he can get it down the field to the guy. Sometimes he underthrows it. Cam has a problem throwing to smaller receivers. He needs a Kelvin Benjamin. He needs a Devin Funchess to throw to because they are 6'3", 6'4". He has a hard time throwing to 5'11" receivers. He underthrows them all the time. Mac Jones is a lot more accurate. They saw his decision making, and they saw
wait. He's not a lot more accurate. He hasn't played it down yet in the NFL. We don't know.
I know. But what I'm saying is what they saw from
him in
the preseason. And I understand that teams don't run 100% speed in the preseason, but just what they saw from him gave them the glimpse that, you know what, we're not going to win the East. Buffalo got that. We just need to get better. If we can at least pull off second in the East, then we still got a chance of sneaking in and getting a wild card. I think they did the same thing. They did what Miami did with Tua last year, but instead of letting Fitzpatrick play 4 or 5 games, they just said, you know what, let's just go ahead and open it up. And we didn't want to give Cam to be the backup because his presence and his gravitas is so big over that team that if he's not the starter and he's the backup, it'll always be more about Cam than your starting quarterback.
Well, I mean, I hear you to some extent. I do. I just thought it was in some sense it was disrespectful to Cam.
It was.
You know what I mean?
It was.
Just cut him, release him outright.
Well, because Belichick kept saying Cam is my starting quarterback. He said it when they signed him. He kept saying it all the way through He said it all the way through the last game. Cam is our quarterback. And then part
of my issue, and maybe it's just me and I need to let it go. Part of my issue is for years since we were younger is we look around the league and we see the black quarterbacks specifically. We look at them and we see how they've been treated you know, from game in a career. And we saw them beat the hell out of Cam.
Yeah.
They beat the hell out of Cam. Not one flag was thrown.
Yep.
Not nothing. Like they beat that man like he was a horse.
Yeah. And you would see
and
the
here he is. It's like, you know, he goes into camp as your starter. Was he that bad where you needed to cut him? Were you that tight on salary where you couldn't afford him?
No.
I don't know. Like I see a lot of these other quarterbacks in the league. The guy in Chicago and all of these guys who for years have been straight garbage, but they get to last a little bit. So that's why I was being a little resistant with the quarterback in Denver who was a Panther last year. What was his name?
Yeah, Bridgewater.
Like
Teddy Bridgewater.
Bridgewater's not great at all.
No, not at all.
He's just as good, just as accurate, just as better as a lot of these other bums who are in the league who need to be average. Hell is Andy Dalton still calling plays in the NFL? He's done. We saw what he did with last year. He couldn't even get he's garbage.
Oh, no, I totally agree. You know, totally agree.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like it seems like they get opportunities again and again and again, and they talk about how cerebral they are and how Andy Dalton's a bum.
Oh God.
He's been a bum for a minute. You know, the guy.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not a fan of Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk Cousins.
That's what I was thinking of.
Kirk
Cousins. He's a bum. He's had good moments. He's had good games.
If you tell me if Cam went to Minnesota, you tell me he couldn't beat out Kirk Cousins? Having those
Cam does have some
offensive weapons and having Dalvin Cook in the backfield. Could you see Cam pulling that ball back from Dalvin and them having to account for him and Dalvin?
Right.
Bro, do you think that if Kirk pulled the ball back, they worried about him taking off and running with it?
Right.
They're not going to be intimidated by that. No defense is going to go, oh, yeah, he's about to take off. No.
So I think it just goes back. And again, it could be just me. I need to let it go. But it just seems like, African Americans and Latino athletes have to be amazing from the jump and at all times because they won't get that. They won't get the benefit of the doubt.
And the media plays a big part in that, Brad. The media itself plays a big part in that of the way that they describe these quarterbacks. Like you're saying, if they're white, I'm expose the elephant because if they're white, they use all these beautiful adjectives, like you just said. Oh, he's cerebral. He has a four pitcher, and he's done this.
He's so smart.
But if he's black, he's all right. He played this, in college or whatever. And then they put so much water on the credibility. You're like, well, I mean, and it plays a part in the fan psyche. It does.
So
what I'm interested in is the way this plays out in Pittsburgh with that kid in Washington, who got released. They called him everything but a child of God last year, right?
They did.
Maybe he was that. Maybe he was immature, young, stupid, a knucklehead. Maybe he was all of that. But I want to see how it plays out in Pittsburgh because my man in Pittsburgh ain't playing that knucklehead stuff, right? So maybe he's less.
Right.
And I think this coach, Tomlin, is the right coach to kind of say, come in, man.
I agree.
Look, get ready to throw away, So I'm just curious to see how that plays out, whether he'll get an opportunity to redeem himself in Pittsburgh. Not necessarily this year, but in the future. My man in New Orleans, right?
Oh,
yeah.
He couldn't in the NFL last year. Come on, man. Come on.
I know
that guy.
It was like what they said was he needed a year to watch Drew Brees do it the right way, and then hopefully now he'll pick up
maybe.
Now my production is telling me that I need to move on to
Got you.
But I'm going to close it with this one last thing for you to chew on, CJ, since you brought up what you said. Typically, quarterbacks when they come into the league sign contracts for 5 years. The 5th year is an option year. So normally quarterbacks after their 3rd year or going into the 4th year will sign a contract extension so that contract doesn't run out. So Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, they're coming up. They're in their 4th year. They're coming up for these extensions. Josh Allen just got paid. He was in that class too.
Okay.
And normally a team will not let that contract run out, because if they do, then they're faced with the question of, do we resign this guy? Do we franchise tag him? You know, what do we do? And if you franchise tag him, he has to be the top 3 paid in his position.
Right.
So when we talk about African-American quarterbacks having to prove themselves, it's funny how Jerry Jones couldn't make a damn decision about Dak Prescott.
Oh, God, man.
But Tony Romo, who didn't do a damn thing.
He didn't have to think about it, bro.
He's a hell of an analyst. He's a hell of an analyst. I love hearing Tony talk, because Tony almost act like he calling the plays from the booth.
Yeah,
bro.
And he gets it right most of the time. He gets it right.
Spot on, right?
He be like, accurate, bro. That man is accurate.
So that tells me that his preparation before these games is second to none. I will never take anything away from him. But he was an average quarterback, and Jerry Jones treated him like it was his son. Dak Prescott did everything he could for Jerry, threw for thousands and thousands and thousands of yards. He let his contract run out. He franchise tags him, and he just basically goes kicking and screaming to give him an extension.
Yeah.
To Brad's point of saying, why do African-American quarterbacks have to prove so much more than their white counterparts? Jerry gave Tony Romo an extension, and he didn't do anything.
No.
And he gave it to him easily. Zeke had to go to Cabo. Zeke had to go to Cabo to get his money.
It wasn't a second thought. It wasn't even a second or third thought.
No.
So,
no.
And it's simply because, and like I said, I'm a fan of football, period. Dallas just so happened to be my team. But I will call a spade in a heartbeat.
All right.
If Jerry has a serious problem, and that problem is called racism. It is what it is.
Wow. Okay.
It is what it is.
CJ, you may be one of the few Dallas Cowboy fans that I can sit in a room with for more than 20 minutes.
I'm a realist first.
I don't think I would hear too many of them say that. Even though they know it. I don't know how many.
That's a serious one. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
I haven't either. I've never heard a Dallas Cowboy fan say that ever.
Okay, then let's rewind the clock. Let's rewind the clock, because I almost dropped Dallas. Now, mind y'all, I've been a fan. Yeah, I know, Lord. I almost dropped Dallas by the simple reaction of what Jones did when it came to Kaepernick kneeling. How he threatened my whole entire team.
Told him that toe better be on the line like they at the military academy.
Let's go back.
That's what he said.
He did. Thank you, B. Just off of that statement alone, I was like, hold the. I can't say the F-bomb. Whoa.
He was one of the few owners that said
he was one of, I think it was 3 of them, right?
I think it was 3 owners. Kraft.
Did Kraft say something?
Yes,
really?
Kraft did it as well.
Yeah, I think it was one of the top 3. And I was like, my mouth hit the floor. My mouth hit the floor because we, quote unquote, are America's team. We supposed to be setting examples for stuff like this. So for you to say that we are the Patriots of the Patriots, so to speak, or the most patriotic team, because we are a Dallas team, America's team, we're supposed to see something like that and support it. But then for you to come back and threaten the whole team and say, I better not see y'all kneel or y'all out of here. But then again, when you go back and you look at his political circle, him and Trump are buddies.
Right.
So that's when I knew. That's when it hit me. So I had a decision.
What did that black owner of that NFL team say? Oh, there are no black owners in the NFL. What am I talking about?
Man, you got me for a second.
I'm like, sorry. What am I thinking? I'll get a black person on the NFL team.
Yeah, you got me. Who?
No, I'm sorry. I am mistaken. I'm thinking about a head coach, a black coach.
Oh, you talking about?
No.
I didn't say I am mistaken. My apologies. But I
head coach work in the big house. The players work out in the field.
Yeah. So
ain't no black NFL.
So I had to make up my mind then. You know, man, it's just really hard for me to hang up my Dallas stuff, and I see stuff like that, especially because like I said, first of all, I'm a fan of football. Period. Dallas just so happened to be my team and everything. So
let me ask y'all this.
So I don't follow the. I can't drop the F-bomb. I can give a heck about Jones.
Yeah, I was about to hit the drop.
But I love my team. I love my team.
All right, so let me ask y'all this, and Lori, just work with me. This is still, it's a sports subject, but it's a political subject too.
Well, yes. It's a good segue to transition over to the topic of the day.
It's coming.
Oh,
I got another question for my guys about this. So in the world of sports, though, sports does collide a lot of times with politics. It really does. As much as people complain and say, keep politics out of sports, I just want to be able to watch a game without thinking about political implications. I'm sorry. That boat is already sailed.
They have.
Huh?
It's one of the biggest political platforms they have is through sports.
Well, not only that, though, but sometimes folks are so endeared to the past that things that were acceptable in the past in today's environment may not make sense, and you have to adapt. Just like slavery was a thing. Not really sure that there's going to be a whole lot of black folks sitting there in the classifieds looking to apply to be a slave. It just ain't going to happen anymore. And people have moved on from saying, you know what, that was acceptable. Women were always known to, there was only two places a woman should be at all times.
Kitchen and bedroom.
There you go. You can't say that no more. There was a time when you called flight attendant stewardess. You know, there were all these kind of things that people don't do anymore. So in the NFL, Washington got rid of their age-old moniker.
Yeah.
And people lost their damn minds.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Guardians got rid of their moniker that they've had for a long time, and fans lost their minds because they still want to call them the Indians. Okay. They don't think that they should have to change because of this woke culture that is forcing all these changes. Now other teams, high school teams, and everybody else, there's even teams that were named the Robert E. Lee High School or whatever, having to change their name.
Yeah, they got to change their name.
Federations. Yeah. So it's not just the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball, bless you, but it's plenty of teams out there realizing that they're being attached to something that is not acceptable anymore. And there are people fighting against that. I had one guy that when Washington decided to do that, he was all over my Facebook, and he did a video of him burning all of his Washington memorabilia. And he had been a Washington fan for over 40 years. His dad used to take him up to RFK Stadium in the old days, and they would go watch those games. He said, Brian, I was hoping to be able to take my son and continue that tradition. And I'm like, why can't you? It just won't be the same. And I'm like, why not? They still play in DC, kind of, and they still suck a lot. What's the difference? All they did was just change their mascot. The mascot had that much to do with the team. But he was hardcore about it. He was burning his stuff online. I knew how big of he was a HTTR. Yeah. Whatever it is, fan, and they can't be that anymore. And he was just like, well, if I can't call them that, I don't want them to be my team anymore. And I'm just like, yeah, but do you understand? And I asked him, I said, but do you understand that there's a certain segment of Native Americans that deem that term racist? Didn't care. Tradition trumps whether certain parts of
But you know what?
society,
I mean, people get over it. We've gotten used to the Washington football team. As crazy as it sounds, and I still can't bring myself to say it.
And they're about to have they're down to eight possible names.
Right.
Yeah.
We've gotten used to it. We'll get used to the baseball team.
Yeah.
Cleveland Guardians.
The high school team here, where my kids go to school or went to school, were the Ossining Indians for forever, right? They changed their name maybe 10, 15 years ago to I'm not even sure what the new name is. And people lost their mind. As a matter of fact, people have gone out and made T-shirts that say Ossining Indians forever. And you kind of know right. Now, I wasn't attached because I didn't go to that school. So, but if my high school changed its name because somebody found it offensive, man, you move on. Like, who cares? I mean, it's not that deep.
They want to be in the stands, Brad, doing their tomahawk chops and which is also stereotypical of Native Americans.
Right, but see, you know what? It kind of boils down to this little thing that my dad would say to me and my brother whenever all these different fads would be coming through, and he would let us be boys. He would let us like get into allow us to be aware of them, but he would say, "Son, be careful what you follow, because some of the haircuts and stuff that you want, some of the clothes, like the different styles of clothes and stuff that you want to wear and stuff like that." It means something to someone else, but in their own culture. We look at it as just trying to be stylish, just trying to be cool and everything. Hence the reason why I never did the mohawk. I like whenever Mr. T was the big thing back in the 80s. Everybody remember him off of 18. I paid the fool, so everybody wanted like this big old mohawk.
He did it good, right?
He did. Do it again.
So everybody wanted the Mr. T haircut, and my dad, nothing my dad came to me without instruction, but he was saying like, son, this is fine, but you want to be careful because this mohawk means something. You are not a Mohican Indian. This could, these haircuts and these tattoos and stuff like that, they mean something in these, even especially in Africa. The different tattoos, the different piercings and all this other stuff. It ain't nothing new under the sun, but understand that you're tapping into someone's culture. We can break it all down to the Buffalo Soldiers, guys, with the dreadlocks. And sometimes I'll just randomly ask a young man, "Hey, man, what do your dreadlocks mean?" Some of them actually know what it is, and they tell you, "Okay, it's my culture, it's da da da." And then someone be like, "I mean, I'm just, I'm just being me. I'm just being me." Cut it off.
Yeah. Totally got
because you don't know.
It's just kind of funny to see how people just lose their minds over stuff like that. Now, the stuff that I've been seeing people lose their minds on social media about. And CJ, I did see you address this the other day.
Show about this.
Yes, you did. 27 minutes long.
Bro, I was pissed. Because I saw it raw.
Brad, have you seen this?
No.
I lost my stuff, Brad. I promise you. Go ahead, B. It's your show. It's your show, so you do it.
Okay, so there's a I want to say South African, but there's a designer in Africa that decided that it would be a good idea to start his business selling rope neckties, and it is exactly how it sounds. I wish I had a picture queued up, where these guys are stylishly wearing these nice shirts and everything, and then there's a damn rope tied around their neck, and it looks like, and basically it looks like damn noose. It looks like a noose. And this is some kind of style, and this is his online store. People have been ordering these, and now there's been a lot of pushback where people are like, have you lost your rabbit mind? Why would you do that? Do you know what that means? Do you know the history of that? Or to like what CJ was saying, do you understand that to a certain amount group of people, what you're wearing is offensive?
Mm-hmm. When you in South Africa, so how is this like? Somebody help me. To this day, I don't.
Lori, we have talked a lot, so I'm gonna let you take this first. You go ahead and jump on in while I pull up this crazy picture.
No, I'm looking at it myself now.
Oh, you see it? Okay.
Let's get an image. Get an image.
Yeah, it's a little different, and even going on talking about the rope neckties, and then also as the last for the Robert E. Lee statue was removed from Richmond, as the last Confederate soldier. So that was removed and is now being in storage, and how everyone is now in an uproar, and then how the other places in other schools are now in a fury to rename their schools because this now has to deal with Confederate soldiers. They were named after. So it just seems a bit extreme. But regarding the rope neckties, it's offensive. It's not something that I would wear. But I need to have a cultural aspect about it, because it just, to me, is just like in Africa, maybe you didn't have a noose, but you had chains, and that's how people got to America. So are you going to sit there and how they transported Africans in boats, because they were lying in rows in the hulls of the boats? I said, are you going to make chains and for that? Because if you're going to sit here and put as a shoe accessory, if you're going to now have a rope necktie, you're going to have like a chain, like a chain,
like a shackle you can put on your ankle, just walk around.
I mean, if you feel like it's that one, because that's no. And I'm like, for anyone, even as someone who is African, who's slightly removed, it's still offensive, because if there's something that I'm doing to you against your culture, if you are South African or having to deal with, the apartheid and things that were going on in your country, you have to have a cultural sensitivity, and that is just not there.
Yeah. So Brad, now that you've seen it, what are your initial thoughts on that?
The designer is black or white?
Black.
He's black. He's black.
He's African.
He is.
Remember, it's a difference.
South African. I mean, but his color.
There's white South African, so yeah, but he's black.
Right. That's why I asked, because because the models that I see wearing it are black models.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I remember a couple of years ago there was that rage about the black kid who was wearing a shirt. What was it? I forget what it was. It was monkeys or something like that, and they had a black kid with a little kid.
Yeah.
Right.
That don't make it right.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that, sometimes we are not aware of what we're doing, and we do it because we feel like it's an opportunity.
Yes,
exactly. So, whatever. I don't like it. I think it's cheap and cheesy. It's a blip. It'll go away.
It's dumb as hell. It's dumb as hell.
Yeah, it is.
It's just, just a little bit more thought into that may have guided this young man to come up with something different. But, sometimes we're not as connected to our history as other people. So some people look at that and it creates images for them, where other people that are so distanced from the past don't even look at it that way. But I cannot for the life of me believe that he did not know that he was going to get some pushback. And maybe, you know what? Maybe for him, the pushback that he got was what he wanted.
Was what he was looking for, right?
All the talk that has been around this has given him more traffic to his website. People have looked at it, and there are a certain bunch of people that love it. Absolutely love it because of what it means and everything.
So the way he's wearing it, it's not just a rope. It's fashioned and hanging like a noose.
Like a noose.
It's not just a rope tie. Right. It's not like a bolo or
because
rope
a
tie.
necklace can be viewed as a rope. People wear rope
Right.
necklaces. You got one on.
this is
You got a
yeah,
necklace.
he's
Brad.
wearing it like a noose.
Yes. It's a problem.
Yes. And like I
Like
said,
your
in my
the necklace
show,
that you got on right
like I
now,
said in my show,
that
I don't
doesn't look
care-
like a noose to
I
me.
don't care what size it is.
Right.
Like-
It's
like
a
I said,
choker,
my-
but it's not a
I
noose.
don't
choker.
care. I don't care. Like I said, and you wearing it like, yeah, it's a choker. It's a choker noose choker. I don't
Right.
care. The thing about it, I don't care what color you put on it. I don't care how small you make it. I don't care how many times you loop it through and all that good old stuff. That's a sign that it represents pain. It represents hurt.
Yeah.
It represents.
So wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Let's flip this a little bit.
Go ahead.
So looking around with the tie, he thinks it's cool, it's fashionable. What's the difference between that
Uh-oh.
Okay.
and 75% of the black community walk around talking about nigga, what's up, nigga? How you doing,
Glad
nigga?
you brought that up.
That's my nigga.
I know it.
I
knew you
love
were
that
gonna say
nigga.
I knew you were gonna say
Check it
that.
Fuck that
I knew you
nigga.
were
Oh,
gonna say
excuse me.
that.
I mean,
No, 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 no,
right?
cool.
What's
It's
the
cool.
difference?
It's cool.
Do it.
It's cool.
Isn't it cultural
What-
appropriation?
I knew
Isn't it
Because you know
about
what, Brad? CJ, I knew you were gonna say that because one thing they said about the news, Ty, was that he felt like if he took the power away
Yep.
from the negative
Yeah.
connotation. And then some people that
Just
you
like
say
they
the N-word
did
say the
back
same
in the
thing
80s
is
with
that
the word
when we
nigga.
say it, we're taking away the power that white folks gave that word. So I knew you were on that path. I
Look
was
at Laura.
praying, I was
Bro, I was
so
waiting
going
on
with
it.
you.
I was waiting on it.
Laura-
I was
Laura's
waiting on
like-
it.
You were gonna say
I was
that.
waiting on it.
Laura's
It is
like, no.
disrespectful. It is still crazy
Listen.
that you would sit there and address your felt. No, it's very disrespectful. It's
Listen.
horrible.
But see, Lori, he may be thinking truly, hey, if I sit there and make it common, then it's not offensive anymore. Like I'm trying to take the hurt and pain out of it by just shoving it in your face all the time.
Listen,
So now it don't
I
mean it.
get-
It don't mean what it used to mean.
No.
Listen, guys, I said it in my show. I'm gonna say it here now. I get the idea of what he's trying to do. Okay, I don't beat him down for that. He's a designer. You know, he's supposed to be thinking outside the box, all that good old stuff.
Yeah.
He's a young guy. He's trying to make a name for himself. So if he was looking for a splash, he made it. If he was looking
He's
for
trying to make
impact,
money.
He got
he
it.
did. However, However, he also had to think about how things take a turn. How does change happen in history? It happens little by little at a time. I gave the example of turning a ship around or 747. You just don't just flip around as if like you're marching, and then I can say about face, and you do an about face with culture in two turns, and then now what was that? What was racism? We don't know what that is. So clearly he has been stung. He has not had a personal experience with it, and it's kind of good in a sense, but at the same time, and so when he said he got the inspiration of looking at some rope that was in his warehouse, and like Brad said, he wanted to take the pain and the sting out of it. Okay, great. We all want to take the pain and the sting out of these things. We also want to take the pain and the sting out of swastikas and out of demonic signs that's antichrist. But some things are just the way they are, period. And it carries such a negative weight to it, to where it just simply is, man. And those are just one of those things. I applaud the young man for trying to think outside the box, attempting to try to think outside the box. But when you're talking about a noose, and not only does it represent hate and racism, it's just like, I gave the example, it's just like me holding up my firearm without any explanation to you. If I was just simply just put up my firearm, the first thing you're going to do is go on guard because you don't know what I'm doing with my firearm. That's without explanation. That's how society looks at a noose, guys.
Yeah.
You just put out a noose, and I don't care how much you try to dress it up or fancy it or any of those things. You still feel a certain way about my firearm the same way you feel about that dang gum news. It kills.
Right, well, CJ, we're down to our last 3 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But no, you're fine. You're fine. I hear what you're saying. I want you to now kind of go back and let's answer Brad's question because it's a fair question.
Okay.
Everybody's in uproar over this news, but people walk down the street, white or black. Bro. What's up, man? What's up, this? And don't nobody even bat an eye. Artists put it all in their songs, females and males. You know, I listen to, and even ones that ain't really fully black. You know, I love me some Doja Cat. Doja, if you watch it,
bro, you gotta be careful with Doja.
She'll drop.
She ain't calling you.
Oh, you saw that?
She ain't calling you.
Saweetie, everybody, they drop it too.
She ain't calling you either.
Of course, you know, Migos, anybody, they drop the N-word like it's going out of style. So why are people not outraged about that? Yet they're outraged because the only thing that I can think of is this. When you say the word, you can't see it. When you wear the news, it's an actual reminder and representation of a painful thing.
Right.
But when I address you as an N-word, that should have a hurt and sting to it as well, right?
Right. It should. But because number one, well, let me break it down like this too. Not only can you not see it, by the very definition of what it is, it can go argumentatively, oh, well, you know, the very definition of the N-word just means a very ignorant person. It's not.
They ain't how it was used.
No,
they ain't how it was used when we were
right,
slaves.
Of course. But I'm just saying, like, it has like a backwash story. You can't backwash story or news.
Why not?
Actually, he has with his creation, and I guess through his creative, and he's trying to think outside of the box, but he's basically trying to whitewash that. But I mean, but everyone has a different experience. And just lastly, but if that was your ancestor that you see hanging in a tree, or that was burned, or sitting here in chase, I wouldn't be wearing that necktie. It's just offensive, and it's just that it's another example of people trying to get away from the painful past of what has been happening, and they want to whitewash it. But I'm sorry, it's not. It's happened. You can't make it go away by clicking your heels 3 times.
All right.
The queen has spoken. All
right.
Well, I'm gonna end this the way we began it, y'all, because that's a heavy subject. So let's end it this way.
Who the hell is Doja Cat?
What?
Look her up.
Why do y'all know her name? What has she done that we're supposed to know her name for?
Like, what has she done? She did the Say So remix. She's done You Right with The Weeknd. She's done the duet with Saweetie. You don't know who Saweetie is? You know, from
McDonald's. I've heard the name Saweetie, but I don't know.
Doja's been out there with Nicki Minaj, and we gotta get you up.
It's another one of Brian's favorites.
Never fallen. Doja been doing her thing. What do you mean? What's a Doja Cat? Have you seen this girl? Have you seen this girl?
Whatever. I mean, okay. I'm not downplaying.
No calling you. They're not call. She ain't calling you.
She ain't calling me, or she better not call me.
Speed, bro. We gotta get your
speed.
She
best not call you ever.
I gotta start preparing your meals.
Wow.
I'm just messing. I'll keep you around, baby. Anyway, who's winning the Super Bowl, y'all?
I can't call it.
Who going to the Super Bowl?
I can't call that one.
I see the Rams and the Chiefs, bro.
Oh my God,
I see the Rams and the Chiefs. Sorry.
Hey,
sorry.
Okay, and the Rams going to take it home?
Yeah, because we have a defense.
They should have took it last year.
And especially with the new stadium.
They should have took it last year.
Okay.
Saying.
I think they'll be in the mix. But
I hope so. Yeah, of course. I'm a fan. I'm supposed to say.
I think Green Bay and Tampa has something to say about that, but I agree with you.
Yeah, okay. I hear you.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers wants to send his organization the ultimate FU, as if his press conference wasn't enough of one, where he just basically stood up at the press conference and called them all out. for the way that they treated him and past players in Green Bay in front of the press. And I'm just like, wow, he just pulled a pimp move. Much love.
Wow.
His
exact words. Yeah. His exact words were a player of my stature. A player of my stature.
Woo! But listen, when you've thrown 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in a year, you can kind of say that.
Yeah, you can. Hence the reason why I don't.
You played every game. You played every game. You played every game, and you only threw 5 picks.
Yeah.
So just like my man said, Tom Brady said that he left New England because he wanted input on the play calling. Like he just wants to have some input on the play call.
It wasn't even about money. Not
about GM stuff. Like Tom Brady was kept in a very small box, and he was Tom Brady.
Right.
With mad.
Aaron Rodgers wanted personnel changes, and he only got 1 ring. No, I feel you. You're right.
But I'm just saying, it's just 2 sides to it. He's the man. Aaron Rodgers is the man.
Brad, we're gonna have to have a whole nother show about this. But you know, Lamar Jackson couldn't do that.
Oh yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You know, Dak Prescott can't do that. Yeah. You know, Teddy Bridgewater can't do that.
And Brad, maybe you should sit here and actually join Brian on the sports show. Because
I didn't know, because I was following you 2 weeks in a row. I was following you.
Yeah.
I can't type that.
Brad has been.
I've been watching
the show through the comments. Trust me, Brad.
I know he's been commenting, but
I didn't know we could just join in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'll jump on.
I'm waiting for you to be on that show because I want another perspective.
Absolutely. Because
we'll do that.
And I'm like, no.
He sure was. We were making our predictions, and Brad was like, "Man, you're a Bridgewater hater, and this and that, and the other."
Oh wow!
He's talking about watching. Cool. He done picked Denver to win the. He done picked Denver to win the AFC West. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, no, I didn't pick them to win it. I picked them to come in second.
Yes, I'm sorry, second. Yeah.
I would love it. I would love it. That
was hilarious.
And Wednesday nights are freer than Thursday nights, so I would love it. Love it.
We'll definitely do it.
And I want you to have on your Rams jersey too.
Lori.
You know how I do the background with my
get the background.
Absolutely.
Lori, listen.
Why? Because they both Panther fans, right?
Lori, Lori, listen. I'm going to say this. The Rams will win 12 games this year.
Man, from your lips to God's ears, man. I'm just saying.
That I believe. I don't think it was because of Stafford. I think the team is just better all the way around. Having that arm cannon known as Matthew Stafford will make it better because you got some receivers that will go get them balls he throws.
Yeah.
You saw what he did to Kenny Galladay's career. You saw what he did to Marvin Jones Jr.'s career.
Yeah.
So yes, do I believe that he is an upgrade from Jared Goff? Hell to the
yeah.
And I think Sean McVay is one of the greatest coaching minds out there. And having that, because the Rams are positioning themselves to win now.
All right. So no. You're not going to do this. You're not going to heap all of this. No.
I'm dead serious.
We're humble. But we're going to try to go 8-8 this season.
No, but I said all of that to still say that I still picked Tampa and Kansas City to go back to Super Bowl.
There you go.
Okay.
So
there you go.
I can recognize.
But how difficult was that? How difficult was that? That wasn't difficult.
No, because I just look at what's in front of me and I try to be realistic. I'm not a Rams hater and I'm not a Rams fan.
No. I'm not talking about the Rams. I'm not talking about the Rams. I'm talking about any other team because injuries are going to happen. Hot streaks, cold streaks are going to happen. COVID is going to happen. Shit's going to happen. Excuse me. Things are going to happen.
And I look at a lot of those teams that only are carrying 2 quarterbacks. And I'm like, y'all have lost y'all's mind in the world of COVID. Normally, I understand you carry 2, and you may tuck away 1 on the practice squad to keep away from the other quarterbacks in the team meetings, which explains why the Cowboys picked up Will Grier, kind of. But
is he their backup or he's the third QB?
He's the third.
Who's their
their backup is
Cam.
I can't think of his name right now.
I think
Cam.
Cam. No, I can't think of his name. He's okay, but he just ain't started a whole lot of games. But a lot of teams are having that third quarterback. But as Rand and I have been breaking down the teams, a lot of the third quarterbacks on injury reserve this year now. And so you're right. Injuries are going to play into it. That's why I brought up the whole thing about COVID, because now more than ever, if you have a quarterback like Kirk Cousins, who has not been vaccinated, and they have team meetings, they have positional meetings, and he's in the positional meeting with the backup quarterback, and he tests positive on Thursday, neither one of them get to play on Sunday.
Yep.
Now, if he was vaccinated, they have a 5-day window. So if you have a Monday night game, he might be ready for the Monday night game, but he's going to miss Sunday.
Right.
So their protocols are harder when the player hasn't been vaccinated because of the close contact. So you could have been around that player, and now that puts you out too. So now they are having quarterbacks on the practice squad that will do the team meetings virtually to keep them insulated.
Makes sense.
It does.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It does. So when you got a Kirk Cousins saying, "No, I ain't gonna take it," when you have Lamar Jackson in his contract year scoffing at that idea, when this next contract is the one that sets you up for life, I think you're being a little irresponsible. What you just made in the first 4 years will be your average yearly salary. The going salary for a quarterback now is anywhere between $39 and $44 million a year.
Yeah.
Josh Allen just got $150 million guaranteed. And we know this players play for the guaranteed amount because they can cut you at any time and not owe you the rest. You're telling me that you're
Baltimore's year.
Risk $40 million a year, $150 million guaranteed because of a damn shot?
Right.
Get out of here. And I got to go to work in the morning and make peanuts. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Anybody else got a Super Bowl prediction? No. Okay. Yeah. All right, Lori. Well,
CJ, good luck tonight, CJ.
Yeah, good luck tonight. CJ.
I'm
about to get my beer, my cigar. I'm gonna watch this, whatever it's gonna be. So my thoughts and prayers are with you.
Oh, come on.
I feel like playing taps is the outro music, but let's end on a good note, y'all. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been another episode of Head to Head. I am your host, Brian Parker. I am he, along with my great panel, Lori Parker, CJ, DC Frail Jones, and the return of the Jedi, Mr. Brad Compton.
See y'all later, man. God bless.
We're out of here. Talk to y'all.
Take care.
All right.
Obi-Wan.
Let's do it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta